No, it's in a safe place. Safe place.
What do you think of Sauce's gift?
I love sauce, and it's not exactly my style, but I will be repping that more than once. I have a strict gift policy. I got to wear at least once.
What do you wear that with?
Oh, I don't know. Probably some sort of tank top to show off the guns. And what else are the kids wearing these days?
Well, Quincy said you were
A fanny pack, but it's over the shoulder, I think it maybe as well.
Quincy said you're a hip hop fan, so you can.
I am, yes.
Rock it out.
90s, though. 90s.
So 90s hip hop. Yeah, you said you were listening to some 50.
That'd be 2000, but yeah. 90s is kind of, Tupac, Warren G, Biggie, a little bit, Mace, but more West Coast guys. Snoop.
Too short? I mean, I know you're from Cali.
Yeah, sure. But more Tupac and Warren G, Snoop.
Along the lines of music, you've got some concerts. Are you planning on Beyonce this weekend? Taking any teammates?
There's a lot of talk about Beyonce and a lot of hype going around. I definitely like to. What's our schedule like?
Sunday practice.
Sunday practice? When's the show?
Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah, we're off what day? Saturday? So no, I don't think we'll be going. No. It's too bad. Yeah.
So, Aaron, how do you feel about where the offense is at now that you've had a good chunk of practices to get out there with the guys?
I thought we had 5 practices where we improved, and then today was kind of a step back a little bit. Felt a little bit tired, I think, as a whole. Mentally made a lot of mistakes, so we got to clean some stuff up. But that's part of training camp. But I felt like we were kind of building, and first day of pads yesterday was pretty solid, run the football, and then today wasn't quite the same type of focus. A lot of it was more perimeter, I would say, but up front we didn't really control line of scrimmage like we did better yesterday.
You talked about your chemistry with receivers a lot. What is it like with the offensive line? What's like developing that? You have some moving pieces there right now with no Dwayne, different tackles coming out there.
Yeah, and there's competition as well. There's competition at multiple spots, but I feel pretty good about the guys in the interior. There's obviously some competition for the tackles. Dwayne's not out there, which is going to make a difference for us. I don't know if we have a timetable on when we need everybody, but it'd be nice to get everybody back at some point. Dwayne's a warrior. I mean, he doesn't necessarily, obviously, you saw last year, he didn't need a lot of practice and definitely didn't need to be 100% to play. So, but I know he's ready to get back out there at some point. And then Mackay, I think, was out today, so that another guy, we'd love to see working when he's healthy.
Aaron, there was a report that you've agreed to a reworked contract. Maybe you could just set this record straight on that.
Yes, yeah. There's going to be something probably hitting later on today.
What is that? Is that just bookkeeping, moving all that money back from last year to this year, or was there actual negotiation involved?
I think you'll see when it comes out.
Darrelle Revis is going to the Hall of Fame this year. What were your impressions playing against him throughout your career?
We played here in, what was that, 2010, was it? Barn burner, 9-0. They had him and Antonio. That was a rough day for the pass game. I remember that. He was definitely one of those guys that could lock down a side, and I felt like there was so much of their scheme was, Darrelle's going to be there, and he's got his guy, and then we'll figure out what to do with the rest of the guys, and that says a lot about him. He continued to do that in New England when we played against him. Just a super talented one-on-one guy who seemed to play his best games against big name receivers. Wow. Ton of respect for him because he definitely had to be really wary about what was going on where he was at. Didn't have any weaknesses. It wasn't like you could get him on top and back shoulder him or have specific routes that he struggled a little bit more. He was just excellent against everything, fast enough to chase you down up top, smart enough to be there for back shoulder stuff, savvy enough to jump on routes when he had the the instinct to do it, and very well deserving to be in the Hall of Fame.
When you talked about it's going to come out later today, and like last week, Robert said he would be shocked if you don't play multiple years. Was that something you intended coming in, or has something changed because you're enjoying yourself and see what's going on out here? I mean, how has that worked?
Yeah, I mean, definitely some of it is how much fun I'm having. It's all about the body, how the body feels. The team gave up significant pieces for it just to be a one-year deal. I'm aware of that. I think there was an awareness of that. Now, again, anything can happen with my body or with the success we have this year. But I'm having a blast, so I don't really see this as a one-year and done thing.
Did you see yourself, though, even a couple of years ago, playing into your 40s? Like, was that a goal of yours?
Yeah, definitely. I think being the 40-year-old starter was a goal, just because that's kind of that's a big number, and to put yourself in that position means you got to really take care of yourself in the off season. And so I adjusted some things with that goal in mind. Obviously, Tom kind of set the standard, playing to 45, I think, which is crazy, but less crazy when you're starting to get closer to that, because you still love the game and you still want to be there doing it. And if you take care of yourself the right way, you put yourself in a position to at least entertain that thought.
You always seem to use your athleticism to supplement your pocket skills. How much of that asset do you think you still have, and how much does that help an offensive line that might have some question marks about it?
When I was younger, I was definitely more dangerous outside the pocket running. I had multiple years where I was in the mid to high 300s in rushing yards. I think I tipped over 100 a couple years ago and felt really good about that. In the last game against Detroit, I remember sliding on a play and going to Bakhtiari, who always rips me about my athleticism, and saying that was 100. So the standards have changed a little bit, but I dedicated myself to a little bit more flexibility this offseason. My diet, I think, has helped with some of the inflammation regression in my body. So I'm still going to have that element to the game. I'm definitely nowhere near some of these incredible runners outside the pocket as far as being dangerous, but I have some assets. I have a pretty good pump fake. I can throw it both ways on the run, and every now and then I can get what's there. So I still enjoy extending the plays. I just enjoy being in the pocket and not taking a lot of shots a little bit more.
At what point did your diet change, and then what does that consist of?
Diet changed like in 2015, and it's just kind of been a work in progress from that point forward. Just always reading and learning and trying to figure out what's going to be best for my performance. You figure out what those control issues are, and what stuff makes your body feel crappy, and what stuff messes up your bowels, and whatever it might be. So you just always kind of tinkering a little bit and finding what works best for you. But it's kind of how you feel in the morning. You wake up and you're not feeling bloated or heavy or heavy-legged or kind of swollen, and then just seeing how the energy is sustained throughout the day. So just always learning, studying, open mind with everything. Everybody's got a remedy, a diet, whatever it is to, have that edge. And I'm always kind of tinkering to find what works best for me.
You were asked about Gary on the first day, but then he goes out and makes that circus catch in the back of the end zone with the two toe tapping. So I'm wondering, when you see plays like that, or the one yesterday with the sideline throw, do you get flashbacks, from 8 or 10 years ago to the other 17 that you were with for so many years?
Yeah, Devontae, his first year was 2014. He had a up and down season. He had a couple games where he played really well. One in the playoffs against Dallas, one in the regular season against New England, and then kind of spatters throughout that year. 2015, he was hurt most of the year. 2016, he really started to take off and become that guy could be our number one receiver. And for him, it was about changing his body. He went from 220 and just absolutely massive and ripped to like a 208 and just chiseled. And I think in the similar way, but the reverse of that, I think that's what Garrett can do with his body as we move forward. And he gets a little older. He's so dynamic with his feet. I think if he adds, 5 or 10 more pounds of muscle, he's going to be really, really difficult to handle. But in the meantime, he's got all the skill set you want. plus the attitude and the work ethic and the character, which you really appreciate. So some of these plays out here, we're not going to take them for granted, but it's also Garrett, so you almost expecting him to make some of these plays.
Aaron, it's still, have you been approached about doing the quarterback show on Netflix?
Not to my knowledge.
Aaron, it's still training camp, but can you see the benefit of being here in the offseason, getting all of those reps during the OTAs with the guys, or is it too early to see just how much of a difference that made in getting acclimated to the guys and everything?
I honestly think it makes little to no difference. I think that's an overblown off-season, nothing going on topic to talk about. I think it can make very marginal difference. I think making the friendships and spending time with the guys, that's always fun. But the real work is once you get the pads on and get to training camp. The off-season should be tailored to the young guys because it's a learning period. So we need to, especially with the new offense. Now, it helped, that I know the offense and I could be here to help these guys kind of install it with Hack. But the off-season is a very slow trek through the base fundamentals. And then when we get into training camp, that's when the real offense comes to life, where we're kind of getting out of some of these remedial concepts and adding to them and looking at the intricacies. I definitely enjoyed my time being here, for sure, with the city so close and getting to know the guys and being around Hack and Todd and Rob in the room and spending time with Zach and Chris and Tim. That was great, for sure. But the off-season program, the importance of it is and always should be geared towards young guys, helping them with their development from years 1 to 2 and 2 to 3 especially.
Talking to the DBs during practice, and we've had so many guys come up here and talk about how you go over to them and say, this is what I'm seeing. If you don't disguise this is what the quarterback's going to do to you. Have you always been like that? And where do you find time to go to all these guys, because they're all coming here saying that?
There's a lot of time during the day. I think part of the role as the as the guy in charge on offense is it's not just offense, it's the leadership of the football team. So there's opportunities throughout the day to find time to drop in with somebody, whether that's a breakfast, a lunch, in between a meeting. So I like to mix up where I sit, just so I get to know a lot of the guys. That, practice, it was twofold. One, I want to tell TA he made a nice play on the interception. Two, I also want to remind him that was a free play because they jumped off sides. At the same time, sometimes I enjoy walking around and getting a different view of things. So I don't always just like standing behind the play. I like to move to the left sometime. In that, you're hearing also whatever position group is over there. You're kind of hearing some of the coaching points. You can check some guys on if they actually know what the play is, if they can mental reps. Go to the other side, hear the linemen, what they're talking about. Hear the D-line. You can pick up some tips. You can offer some tips. When you're from the side and from behind, it's a lot different view as well. So, but look, I love our guys, and I think any chance they can see and feel me, encouraging them is a good thing. I really enjoy the conversation with the DBs. There's been a lot of them from Sauce and DJ and MC, and J-Dub, TA, and Smash, and all those guys. I think it's important that we communicate, because if we're just trying to beat each other's ass in practice, that's great for competition-wise, but we're not actually getting better. They need to be talking to me about if my receivers are tipping things off or if something I'm doing is tipping them off, and I need to tell them, like, hey, this is hard for me, this isn't. So there's things to work on for both sides, and I think that sharing of information is really important, us kind of getting together on the same page and taking that next step.
Along those same lines, a lot of the offensive guys have talked about how in a walkthrough you might throw something at them unexpected. How much do you enjoy kind of testing them, and what does that tell you about these guys?
I love it. That's one of my favorite parts of this whole thing is, why should we ever waste a rep? And it can be it can be an offensive line walkthrough at at 6 o'clock of these night walkthroughs while the special teams is going. If we're just going through the motions when we're on the field, we're missing opportunity. Every time we're on the field, we should be alert for anything. And I like to test them on some stuff that maybe they haven't thought about before, or maybe it was installed in day one that we were here, or maybe it's something we talked about in the spring, just so they know kind of how I operate. Is that everything is up, number one, but also I want the best players are the smartest players. So anytime we're on that field, whether it's a half line walkthrough or a full 11-on-11 play, they should be playing with their brains turned on.
Jumping off of that, what's the exchange of communication like with Mosley, who's the quarterback of the defense?
He's quiet, so I got a strategy for him and I's friendship. But he's a quiet guy. Quincy's a little bit more vocal. So CJ and I will talk from time to time in the locker room, but I really got to initiate that conversation right now. But he's a great dude. Love his leadership style, leading by example. I've been around a lot of great ones over the years. Julius Peppers was one of the best, where JP didn't say a whole lot, but when he did, everybody listened. And I think that's what the effect that CJ has. He's a very quiet leader, leads by example. When he starts talking, everybody's listening.
Last one said you're having a blast. What is it about so far your experience with the Jets and this area that you're enjoying so much?
Well, I think everything's new. I think it's we've all turned the page. It's a new chapter. It can be exciting. I think it's going to be exciting for Green Bay moving on. It's definitely been really fun for me out here. I got a new head coach to get to know and appreciate his style. I'm back with, Hack and I are so close. I'm in the room with Todd Downing and Rob, and we're having a blast. New quarterbacks to work with, new personalities in the locker room. They stuck me in a really great corner where I got a bunch of funny D linemen on one side and Lazard over on my left side. So that stuff's all new. Getting to know the people around the facility has been a lot of fun. Change can be difficult for sure, especially when it's that drastic, 18 years in one spot. But if you can lean into it and embrace it, there's some really beautiful things on the other side, and I've been experiencing them so far. The people have been great, both in Jersey and in the city, and I'm just having a hell of a time.
Thanks, everybody.